Sales and marketing function of a company that manufactures and sells snowboards. Okay, so that's pretty much also the support. That's just for the support of the organization. As we're talking about the business intelligence, we use a lot of different applications. One of them is also the database to analyze and to create programs to keep track of the data and analyze them. So the first step is to create a table. And we do have 3 tables. The first one will be called product table. The second table will be called customer table. And the third table will be called order table. Okay? So I'll start with the first table. So you open Microsoft Access. And you can call this project 3. Create. The first one I will name it product. First table. I don't need the order number, so I can cancel or delete this first row. And then the field name will be product number. Number. And that's the description. I put that this is the primary key. Used to uniquely identify each product. So I have to make sure that I select the product key here. Okay, so this is a primary key. Then we have product name description, so I use description. That's a text. And that's a product name description. Then the price. The price is a number or a currency. It's better to use a currency if supported by DBNS because it supports, so I can use a currency. That's the current price. Of the product. Then I have the customer number. Oh, that's the product table. Okay. Now we're done with this table, so I can just save it. Okay, so it has only these three reports, 3 fields, 3 fields with this 3 data. Okay, product number, description, and price. Now I'll create the second table, which is called the customer now table. Switch the view. I'm going to call it customer. Press OK. Get rid of the first row. Now I'm going to create my own primary key. So a customer number. It's a number. Primary key. Then the customer name. Text. That's the customer's name. Then address. Text. That's the customer's street address. Then customer city. Also text. That's the city. Then customer state. It's also text. Customer state.
Professor?
Yes.
Don't we change the field size and format? Do we
Yes,
those?
for the customer state, we have to change it to field size to 2, and the format graded edit. This is for the state. For the customer zip code, I'll show you that also. So you have to follow. Some of the instructions is not on the paper, so you have to follow what I'm showing you right now. This is the customer zip code. Roller coaster code. Anyway, this is just the instruction. So now for the zip code, yes, we have to use the format for the input mask. So for this, you have to use the input mask zip code. So to make sure that the user will input it in the same exact format. So we're gonna go to for the customer zip code, we go to the input mask, click on the 3 dots on the right side. You must save the table first, you click yes. And now we're gonna scroll down to the zip code. Click next. Placeholder. You can pick the placeholder that you want. Next. Without the symbols or with the symbols. I can click with the symbols. Next. And then finish. So I create the customer zip code. Let's see the customer zip code. So we created an input mask for the customer, so we're making sure that the user will enter them in the format that we want. Okay, then we do have the country, which is text. What else? Work phone number. That's just the text. Home phone. That's also a text. We put here also the description, and then the email, which is also a text. That's the customer email. Okay, so that's the second table, and then I just save it. Of course, you have to write here the descriptions, and then I create now the third table. Create table. Switch to view. The third one will be order. So I delete this, and then first one will be the order number, primary key, a unique number for each. This is the primary key. So I make it primary key. Then customer number. That will be the foreign key now. It's also a number. This is how we're going to connect with the other table. So that's a foreign key. That will connect the order table to the customer table. And then we do have also the product number. That's also a foreign key, because that's the one that will connect it now to what? To the product table. So that's also a foreign key. So in another word, this table that we created now will be like the bridge that will connect between the two other tables. Okay? And then we have the sales amount, which is currency. That's the price of the snowboard. We do have the order date, which is date. Sales type. Okay, the date here, make sure also that you make it, the order dates cannot be on the future. Okay, so we have to use a validation for the date. So on the order date, you have to go to the validation rule and make sure that we don't put any date on the future, because this is the order that was placed. So we cannot put a date that is in the future. So what we do, what is the validation rule that we use? It should be what? Less or equal to the function now on the validation rule. And then you can put a text that the date or the order date cannot be a future date. For example, that's just a text that will be displayed if the user tries to enter a date which is in the future. Alright, that's for the date. And then we have the cell type, which is a text. Then payment. The payment, the type of the payment may be credit card, cash, or COD. So that's a text. But this payment, we said it can be either credit card, cash, or COD. So let me see here for the order table. There you go. Order table. Okay, so you can put the description there. What is after that? Payment. Okay, so for this one, how are we going to make sure that the user enters only one of these three?
Do we use validation rule
Good,
again?
we have to use the validation rule because we said here the payment has to be either credit card, so we put credit, we put cash, or code. How we do that? The user has to choose only one of these three options. So on the
So,
validation rule, we put what? Credit, or cash, or COD. That's it. That's what you put in the default. Not
So
the
does
default,
it?
you have to
Oh
put it
yeah,
on-
yeah. Because I was
You
gonna.
have to put it in the validation rule. This has to be on the validation rule. Okay? Credit or cash or code is in the validation rule.
So there will be no one for the default, right? Like
There is nothing on the
nothing in
default.
default. Okay. So we have to just.
And then the validation text, you just display the message that you wanted. The user type, put something which is not one of the three types. Okay? That's the payment. Then the credit type, which is just a text. That's the name of the customer credit card. Maybe Passport, Misery Card, Discover, American. And then we do have the credit number, which is a text card number. And then we do have the expiration date, which is just a date. That's the expiration date. Alright? So that's the third table. We save it. If you switch the view, you can see this is what you have in. For this one, we have to create, for the customer, make sure also to make the customer number the primary key. So the customer number should be the primary key for the first one. For the product, there is a product number. For the customer is the customer number. For the order date is the order number. So the order number is primary. And now I'm going to enter some records of the data. I'm just going to put some of them. I give you already the data that you have to enter. So for the first one, 2101, freedom, description, freeze one, and then the price, let's say $3.95, and then I'll choose 3120, half pipe, and then 350. So I'm just gonna put two reports, and of course you guys have to put all the reports that I described. For the second table, I'm gonna put also data for the customers. So customer number 1, customer name, Gloria, Simon. I put the address, for example, 404 Berry Road. And then put the city. The state, Illinois. Now we get to the zip code. You see the zip code in the data, I give you only 5 numbers. Okay. The data that you have there, it's only 5 number. That's the one that you have to put initially. So you put 60178, and you fill in the other ones with just ones. Okay, you fill in the rest with ones. So you put the zip code that's provided. The rest you fill it with just one. The country is U.S. Phone number 815-123. Let's see, 4567, and then home phone number. You can leave it blank. Email, let's say, uplink.com. Okay, that's first customer. I'm just gonna create 2 customers. Groger, 109. Just to show you how it works. Northern California. The zip code again, I'm just going to enter these 5 numbers, 91, 501, this was given, and I fill out the rest with ones. It's US, then I put a number, which one, 8, 9, created 2 customers. Now I move to the order table, search the view, and then the order number for the first one is 1, customer number 1, product number 2101, and then sales amount $395, the date 12/08/98. You can see I cannot put something on the future. Like if you try to put something, for example, on 2015, it's not going to let you. See it? Okay, because we use the validation rule. So I put here 98. Sales type, internet. The payment now, we have also validation rule here and the payment, right? We said we have only 2 choices, either credit or what? So credit will take it, credit type, passport, and then numbers, I can put 144, 45, and then 78, and I put here the expiration date, 12/31, say 2014. Okay, we're just gonna put another one to number customer 2. Of course, you have to enter all the records. I just put 2 records from each table. Okay, you guys have to fill up all the records that was given. Now I'm going to close those, save them and close them. And now the next step is to create the relationships. You guys know how to do relationship, right? So now, so far I have created 3 tables. You see them here. So if I go to database tools, relationships, you're going to show the 3 tables. Okay. So this is the one that's going to be the bridge, so I put it between them, between the 2. And now we're going to connect what? Customer number. The order table, I'm sorry, the order table is the one that's acting like the bridge, so it should be between. So now the customer number with the customer number, enforce, create. And then, of course, here this one, the product number with what? With a product number. And then enforce, and then create. So that is your relationship. This is acting like the bridge between the 2. Okay? Connecting the primary key with this one, which is the foreign key. Connecting this one primary key with this one, which is the foreign key. Now, when you create the relationship, you have to save it. So you click on relationship report. It's going to generate for you the relationship report. You see it's not really visible here, so we make sure that you change the layout to landscape. So to do that, you click on landscape. See it? So the report now will be landscape format. Now I click on save, and it shows me here report. So that's relationship for project 3, and I just press OK. So now it's added the project report here. Okay? So now I'm done with this part. Now I can move to the step number 4, which is creating the forms. So now I close this, I close also the form, and I close this part here. So now creating the form, step 4. I'm just going to create one, and of course the other one will be the same way. Create, and you go now to the form wizard. You have to create form from each one of the tables. We have 3 tables, so we need 3 forms, each one, to help the user enter the data for the tables. So form wizard. Now for the table customers, you're going to enter all the reports, select all the reports. Next, keep it by default, columnar. The type of the form, you're going to call it customer form. Change the type to customer form, and you just finish. So that's creating now the customer form. And customer form we can create now new customers. Okay, because that's the form. See it? I create now the form here. It shows here on the left side. If you want guys to create a new form, what you do is you just click on this new form here, new blank. Or from here, I can create a new reports. So clicking that, you can type in a new reports, and then by saving it, it's automatically added to the table. Okay, that's how the forms works. We want to customize this, so we can always customize it by just changing the format here. So from the view, you can go to the, change it to the layout view. And you see the layout view, this font here, you can change it. So you can choose a different font. You can even change also the color. So you go to home, for example, and then pick a different color. Make it red, bold. Okay, you can also attach a different design, attach a different pictures here, different background, and so on. That means the form can be customized. So that's why I told you, be creative, and then you can customize it the way that you want. Even the background color that you see here, we can change it, and so on. Okay, so the whole thing here can be changed. So I can do a background image. I don't think I have any image here. The last time we checked, we didn't have any pictures here, but we can use also background image. On the design, I can also choose a logo. I can insert an image. I can do a different colors. Okay, like the background colors here that you see, or different themes. Okay, different themes, I can apply different themes. Alright, so you see how the text now change when you apply different themes. So just change it, make it to look a different way, and be creative. You're gonna do the same thing for the other ones. You create a form for the order and for the product. So you're gonna have 3 forms altogether. Alright, so we save that, close it. Now we move to the step number 5, which is creating the reports. Same way, we need now just to create the reports for the 3 tables. So I go to report wizard. Now for the customers, select all of them. Next, as there is any group and element that we want to classify them, for example, by name. If you want to do any grouping, you classify them by name. So we can put here the by name, which is the customer name. So grouping by name. And then you just click next. No, next, you just leave it by default. This is if you want to print the report in a portrait or landscape. We're going to choose landscape because we do have a lot of confirmations. Next, and then just type here customer report. And then just finish. Now the report should display the information this way. See it? I choose it landscape so it can reflect all the information because we do have a lot of them. Okay? Now it shows only 2 records because this is what I have originally on the table. You guys, when you enter all the reports will be all the records that you have on your table. Okay? Again, the report also can be customized. Okay? So that means I can also go back to the change the view and then change the colors, change the background, put the date, insert a new date or time. So that's the view. You can see here. Closing this, you can change also the font for the text here. Let's say you want to make this one a different color. You can also pick the color that you like. Make it, let's say, brown. You want to make it also bold. And you're going to choose, for example, a different font style. Make it bigger. You can do that. Okay, underline it. Also changing the background. Okay, And then now when I display it, it looks this way. Okay, again, you can just customize it the way that you want. You save it, and you're gonna create also a customer for the order and for the product. Okay, that is done. The last step is to create queries, and you guys have to create 3 queries. First query to list all the customers for customers in Colorado. So create. Now you're gonna go to the query wizard, which is this one. Sample query, the customers now. It said list all the informations. List all the customers' information, all the fields. So we have to select all the fields. Next, I'm going to call it customer query A, because we do have A, B, and C. So the first one will be customer query A. Finish. So now it's create now the query that has all the information. You can see how the font changed because I changed already the theme. Now, in order to make the query, I have to change the view and change the criteria. We said we want only the customers from Colorado. So I go to the state, here, criteria, state, and I put Colorado, CO. And then I run it. Now it does not show anyone because I don't have anyone from Colorado, right, for the 2 reports that I have. But you guys, you have already some from Colorado, so it should show you only the ones for Colorado. You have another 1B that shows only the 3 customers who purchase a half pipe. So you do the same thing. And it shows now the one who purchased a half pipe. And the third one, the one who used a credit card, Misery credit card. That's it. You save it and you submit it on the project through Dropbox.